shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
I take care of the kids. And I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 1017 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, sponsored by FidelityWealthManagement.com. Sports talent agency A&A Management, founded by Black twins Aaron and Andre Eanes, is thinking outside the box when it comes to creating opportunities for the next generation of sports stars. Growing up in Cleveland, the Eanes brothers watched their parents work as Burger King franchise owners. And Andre talked to Bloomberg about the impression it left on him and how the worlds of business, branding, and sports were always blended together.
We watched our parents do the work. We watched our parents walk the sites. We watched our parents go through the things they had to go through, managing, a franchise like Burger King in the early 90s, and one of the things that, stands out to me the most is like a lot of my dad's partners were Browns players, Indians players. We got to go hang out with Indians pitchers and their families.
Eanes referring there to the team now known as the Cleveland Guardians. Eanes' most recent success story is that of NFL superstar Travis Kelce. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ETHOS.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. shake the ground, unveils a truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams, he molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Thursday, January 29th, 2026. There are many reasons why independent investigations are necessary, because there will be additional details and additional facts that will always arise when you have different eyes from different organizations and different agencies who are looking for different things and different details. So when you have all these different agencies and entities looking at something and analyzing something and going through all the evidence, the physical evidence, the circumstantial evidence, the forensic evidence, you may come up with a conclusion. It doesn't mean that someone will be absolved of wrongdoing. It does not mean that someone is absolutely guilty, but we want these additional details. Well, there is newly uncovered footage of Alex Preddy, who was killed by, these were Customs and Border Patrol agents. I think some folks maybe mistook them for ICE, but they were Customs and Border Patrol, which have even less business being away from the border, as they are not trained in any kind of urban policing, because that is not their jurisdiction. But there's some footage that was released, and I'm glad the footage came out. It may be disturbing for some of you, but it shows a previous interaction that Alex Preddy had with ICE agents. And so I sent the video link to my esteemed producer, Rhea Riley. I really want you all to see it, because it's going to give another perspective of Alex Preddy's interaction with ICE agents and Customs and Border Patrol that ultimately took his life on January 24th. It shows him violently interacting with those agents, spitting at them, and then kicking the vehicle. So the agents are in a vehicle and they're driving away. They're at some intersection in Minnesota, and there's a big crowd of people yelling and screaming at them. And Alex Preddy steps forward out of this crowd of people. And he also was having verbal back and forths with the agents. The agents get in an SUV and they're about to drive away. Mr. Preddy then begins to kick the agent's SUV and kicks the taillight off of this vehicle in which the agents are inside, and they're actually driving away. So they get out of the vehicle, they grab Mr. Preddy, they throw him to the ground. This is 11 days before he was killed by these agents. So there is, in fact, evidence of him being out there on multiple days and having up close and personal interactions with these agents. Here is something that I know about concealed carry. You are supposed to, at every opportunity, avoid conflict and never involve yourself physically where there is some kind of altercation if you are a concealed carry weapons holder, especially with law enforcement. But he's kicking this vehicle that the agents are in as they are driving away, which is what the crowd wanted. The crowd wanted them to flee this intersection, and they did. They were outnumbered, the agents were. They got in the vehicle, and they fled. Well, Mr. Preddy then decides he wants to kick the vehicle and bust the taillight off of the vehicle. They get out. He is physically wrestling with them, and here's the crazy part. They throw him to the ground, and then in the tussling with him and probably 2 or 3 other border agents or ICE agents, they pull his jacket off. his firearm that he was concealed carrying at that time was exposed. They didn't attempt to disarm him. They did not shoot him, but you can clearly see in the camera footage that he has his sidearm on his hip. The agents see the gun and they still proceed to get in the vehicle and drive away. Now, here's the thing about the video, and I really want to show you guys, and I'm sure my esteemed producer probably has the video at the ready. Here's the problem with the video, though, Rhea. It is laden with profanity because you hear the protesters explaining how they feel about these agents, and then there's also little explosions you hear in the background that sound like gunshots, but it's actually the agents that are trying to disperse the crowd because they're shooting tear gas. So it sounds like bullets, but it's actually the tear gas pellets or the pepper ball pellets hitting the ground. So I'm kind of at a crossroads here, Rhea, because I'm not sure if, because the sound in the video is necessary to provide context, but every now and again you'll hear like a faint F word or get the F out of here or F you, dude. And then there's just a random white lady just running around saying F. F-ity, F, F, F. So why don't we do this? I'm going to grab a phone call, yes?
No, but yeah.
No. Yes, I grab a phone call. No, I'll get the phone. Who's answering the phone? I'll answer the phone. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. So maybe you make an executive decision, or maybe we can play the video without the sound because people need to see it. Because this dude was out there antagonizing the agents. And here's what else I know. There's facial recognition being used everywhere. And I even have some details of some facial recognition being used in a particular city. There is some evidence that they're using it right here. I think the agents knew who Alex Preddy was, and they let him get away with that first altercation that took place on January 13th. Let me be clear. By no means am I justifying his death. But when you see the video and the altercation that he essentially initiated, these agents were driving away and he started kicking the vehicle. Then they get out, they take his jacket off. They see he has a gun and they leave him alone. The next time that he interacts with these agents, they kill him. Let's talk to person on the phone. Hello there. Good morning. Good.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Who is this?
Quincy calling from Milwaukee.
Hi, Quincy from Milwaukee. What's on your mind?
Well, I heard the news about Nicki Minaj supporting Donald Trump. I wonder if you heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, then. That's all you... Oh, he's gone. He just want to know if I heard. I also saw a news article where she said she's in the last stages of her citizenship paperwork. I think that has something to do with her support for Donald Trump. Ultimately, the optics of it looks ugly, but look at it from her perspective. It's controversial. It's publicity. She likely is going to get something out of it, her citizenship. How the hell she's not a citizen, I have no idea. Because I thought that wealthy people and famous people could fast-track their citizenship. Apparently not. But also it's a way in which you can manipulate Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that if I get the opportunity to sit down with Donald Trump, I will do it. I would do it here. I would go to Washington, D.C. I would meet him at Camp David. I would meet him at Mar-a-Lago. Yes, indeed, I would. I would be fascinated by the opportunity because I know men like him, and I know exactly what you have to say to manipulate a man like him. Now, because I'm saying that I know how to manipulate him, I probably never will get a sit down with him, but also it's the same thing with Sheriff David Clarke. There was a point in time many years ago where Sheriff David Clarke, so this is really before the rise of Trump, Sheriff David Clarke was like our Milwaukee version of a black Trump person. He was inflammatory. He was mean, rude, disrespectful. He used overt racist language to describe black people and black women. And I would sit down with him every opportunity that I got. People like that are fascinating. I love to speak with people that we have like fundamental moral disagreements with. Those are the most interesting people. In fact, the further away from and I say our because a lot of us have the same like beliefs, systems, and political viewpoints, the further someone is away from what we believe and hold true, the bigger and better the opportunity for that conversation. One of the best interviews I've ever done was with Marjorie Taylor Greene. A top 5 interview was many years ago. It was with Sheriff David Clark when he was at his most fever pitch rhetoric of how he hated the black community and all these single mothers. And here's what's crazy about Sheriff David Clark. He was chief law enforcement officer for Milwaukee County, including all of the black community, but would just defame black people and black women. One of the absolute top 5 radio conversations or interviews I ever had. I did an interview with Sheriff Clark at WNOV at like 10 o'clock. He was leaving the studio, but then walked in, talk about this for a dynamic duo, then State Senator Lena Taylor and State Assembly Representative Mandela Barnes. So Mandela Barnes was still in the Assembly. Lena was in the Senate. So David Clark was walking out of the studio. Lena and Mandela were walking in. If you want to talk about individuals who are on total opposite sides of the political and social spectrum, it was those 3 individuals. You know what David Clark said? You know what, Sherwin, I think you got Lena and you got Mandela. I think I'd like to stay for a little while longer. And here I am thinking that Sheriff David Clark is going to tear into Lena for being a black woman and being a liberal and tear into Mandela because, let's face it, it's easy to. We had one of the most productive conversations about educating black children that I think I've ever had on the radio. We found not just common ground, we found a common continent between myself, Lena Taylor, Mandela Barnes, and Sheriff David Clark. Now, fast forward to the year 2026. I don't speak to really any of those individuals anymore. But where there is opposite viewpoint, there is so much opportunity to find the humanity in another human being. So if y'all hear a couple of replay shows for a couple of days in the coming weeks, Sherwin might be at Mar-a-Lago getting some interview time with Donald Trump, but don't worry, I'll make sure I'll play the interviews for you when I get back. Kidding, it'll probably never happen. But if Nicki Minaj knows how to manipulate Donald Trump, well, then hell, anybody can. So shout out to Quincy, who called. He just wanted to know if I'd heard, and I did. So I'm going to take a break, come back. Rhea, maybe we play the video because I really want people to see it because it's newsworthy. You can play the video and have the volume off or down on the video? Okay. Maybe I will narrate the video on the other side. So you're going to have to go to YouTube. Go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search 1017 The Truth or search The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Hit subscribe, and then you'll be able to view the video of Alex Preddy interacting with federal agents 11 days before he was killed. And when you see this video, it will be plain as day that he was, in fact, the antagonist. If you're going to go out there and protest, do your thing. Do your protesting. Don't antagonize these boys because they're not trained. A lot of them are probably scared to be out there in these urban streets. They don't know who's aiming guns at them and throwing rocks at them. And all right, so take a break, come back. We'll play the video for you of Alex Preddy interacting in a relatively violent manner with customs agents 11 days before he was killed. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 FM. I'll be back shortly.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo! You just won $5,000!
What would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
Yes. That just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
I got money now.
This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball weekly update on the new 1017 The Truth.
2 big wins to highlight as we start on the boys' side in the Blue Division. The Golden Meyer Owls went on the road and took down the Milwaukee Reagan Huskies 68-56 behind an unreal performance from their 1-2 punch. Junior forward Chris Reddick was everywhere, posting an absurd double-double with 25 points and 18 rebounds. But somehow that wasn't even the wildest stat line of the night, as senior Caleb Colbert went full video game mode, recording a quadruple-double with 22 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals. And now to the girls on the gold side of the division, as the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats dominated on the road Tuesday night at Carmen Northwest, cruising to a 62-35 win. Junior Josiah Collins led the charge, finishing with a strong double-double of 25 points and 10 rebounds.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update. MPS proud and MPS strong. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our phone number here, if you're so inclined, is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. So our first call was about Nicki Minaj having a conversation with Donald Trump. So I'm glad we got that out of the way, because that was probably going to be easily 2.5 hours of my show today. But since we got that part out of the way, Rhea and I are going to play for you a video via YouTube of Alex Preddy, his interaction with agents 11 days before he was killed. I don't think that this really changes the facts and the merits of how and why he was killed. I still think that that was an assassination. They killed a man who was defenseless, but he was, in fact, out there antagonizing those agents. And so there was a local news organization that just happened to be there that day, and they just happened to catch Alex Preddy out there on the front lines protesting with Customs and Border Protection agents. So there is reason to think that he was out there on several days, if not every day. Now, most of us are just familiar with what happened to him on January 24th, but this footage shows what took place on January 13th. Rhea, if you want to go ahead and roll that footage. And then I think that there is an article in which I can kind of narrate what you all are seeing. So first, I think I need to go to the YouTube and take a look. Okay, let me take a look here. Let me see what we got. Where are we at here? Okay, so he already kicked the tail light off of the vehicle. I think that my YouTube video may be delayed compared to what is going out to you all. So you see people surrounding the vehicle. He's already kicked this is the second vehicle, it looks like. Oh, the captions are on. So, he's spitting. You guys see that? I don't even know if I can narrate it, because I think what I'm viewing might be not synced. Okay, so right now I'm looking at him. He kicked the taillight off, right? You see the vehicle was driving away with the agents in it. He kicks the taillight off the vehicle, okay? An agent gets out. They're wrestling him. 2 agents, 3 agents, 4 agents. Now the camera is aimed in the wrong direction. So they have him on the ground right now. There's a swarm of agents that are surrounding him. Now, if we were playing the sound on this video, you'd be able to hear like little pops, little bangs, because there's tear gas balls being fired by these agents. And then you just got a random white woman who's yelling. And you got a photographer to the white woman's not even wearing a jacket. So you see that? It's Alex Preddy right there with his gun. You can see him. He's got his sidearm on him. They didn't attempt to disarm him. In fact, they let him be. He is standing there with his jacket off because his jacket came off in the tussle with those agents. Now, remember, they could have arrested this guy. He damaged a federal vehicle. So you see him to the left of the frame right there. He's bending over. It appears that the agent's vehicle is still there. The crowd is still amassed. They very well could have arrested him for his criminal damage to property because he kicks the tail light off of the vehicle. And the reason why I think it's important to show this is this illustrates that there was an interaction with him and agents prior to his killing on January 24th. I do not know how many other days he may have been out there. But what this video does is it raises the level of suspicion of, was he antagonizing these agents every single day as a part of his protest? So now as you're looking at the footage via YouTube, you see just a cloud of smoke. That is all tear gas because these agents are trying to clear the area, and then you see the agent vehicle drive away. All right, thank you, Rhea, for playing that for us. There's another whole depth of that video when you hear it with the sound because you get a little bit more context. I did post the unedited version of that video with full sound in the Hughes Views 414 Facebook group. You know, that's the Facebook group that corresponds with this show. So if you want to view that video with all of its major profanities, you'll be able to do so in the Facebook group. And Rhea has dropped a link to the video in the YouTube chat as well. Now, I'm not saying that interaction that he had with those agents was a reason why they should have shot him, but let this be some kind of a teachable moment. And I'm going to get to some details at some point in the show of exactly what are you supposed to do? What are your rights? How does the Constitution protect you if you get stopped by Customs and Border Patrol or ICE? I don't want to confuse the two because the agencies, even though they both operate under the Department of Homeland Security, whose funding is in jeopardy as long as Kristi Noem is the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. Let me go ahead and make my prediction right now. Y'all ready? I like to predict things. By Valentine's Day, she will no longer be the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. She's on her way out. She is losing the faith of Republicans who were, up until fairly recently, staunch Donald Trump supporters. Let me just take a moment for a second on that. If there are members of the House of Representatives in the U.S. Senate, the Senate voices are more powerful. Senate Republicans have a much larger, stronger voice against Trump than Democrats in the House of Representatives. And you have Rand Paul, who says he doesn't trust the Department of Homeland Security to conduct an investigation. That's huge because that's flying in the face of Trump. And then you have Tom Tillis, who is about as loyal to Donald Trump as you could possibly get. He is the majority caucus leader in the U.S. Senate. And he has lost faith because Donald Trump, I guess, called Senator Tillis stupid. You know what Tom Tillis' response was? I was expecting him to say something sycophantic like, oh, Trump, it doesn't really mean it. So the press cornered Senator Tillis, and it said, Senator Tillis, Donald Trump just called you stupid. And Tom Tillis' response was brilliant. He said, oh, well, then that qualifies me to be the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security and an advisor to the president. And dude walked off like a boss. When you lose that kind of Republican Senate support, the downfall potentially is near. But here's what I can't understand. If you're just a regular broke, can't find a job, living in some small town, why in the hell are you still supporting Trump? When the people that gave Donald Trump his political power, they're peeling away from him. What reason and excuse do you have to support him? We've known since 2016 that this emperor has no clothes. When the Democrats get control of the House of Representatives, the investigations of ICE and Customs and Border Protection agents will be as furious as the articles of impeachment that will be filed and will be passed against this president. Just giving you a little bit of a warning of what's going to happen. Here's something that I thought was going to happen, but is not. And this should be a warning to all of the agents who think that they are acting in the best interest of the Department of Homeland Security, of U.S. citizens, and of the Constitution, whatever. Unless Donald Trump provides them with a preemptive pardon, all of them are going to federal prison. Just because they're wearing the uniform and just because they got the $50,000 signing bonus and they're making the $100,000 a year, which is the salary if you're an ICE or a CBP agent, and their little student loans have gotten forgiven because that's another benefit and perk if you sign up to be one of these, a member of these alphabet organizations. Unless Donald Trump gives all of them preemptive pardons, all of them are going to go to federal prison because the investigations are going to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt there is sufficient evidence to prosecute. And they're going to find a monster. They're going to get another special counsel now. Remember the whole Jack Smith thing? Because Jack Smith was a special counsel They're going to get another special counsel for this. And all them white boys going to jail. In fact, so many of them are going to go to prison, they may spike the white male prison population. You white guys, y'all ain't going to like that. And for those agents who signed up to be a member of these alphabet organizations simply because you are racist and you want to do harm and you think you have some kind of immunity when it comes to shooting innocent people, let me say this to you. May all of your grandchildren be black. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
There's nothing like Milwaukee Bucks basketball at Fiserv Forum. The dunks, the defense, the roar of 17,000 fans. It's even better when you're with friends or family. From jaw-dropping plays to buzzer-beating threes, every game is packed with unforgettable moments that you'll get to share together. So gather your crew and get your single game tickets today at bucks.com/single. That's bucks.com/single.
Hey y'all, it's 101.7 The Truth's Rhea Riley for Sweet Talks Medical Spa in Menominee Falls. Skip the sterile clinical office feel. Sweet Talk stays on the cutting edge of beauty and wellness innovations in a vibrant, playful space promoting self-love and confidence. Sweet Talk specializes in a range of treatments, including injectables, medical-grade skincare, weight loss, hormone therapies, and more. Not sure where to start? Sweet Talks offers comprehensive wellness consultations to create a customized plan centered around you. Because at Sweet Talks, your goals are their goals. Learn more at sweettalks.com.
Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the second annual Truth Community Awards, happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This award show will honor the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. We're rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Buy your tickets now by visiting 1017thetruthAwards.com. Tickets are just $20, which includes free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the second annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day, too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Telephone number here. You can text it too. You ain't got to call. Quincy called though. Quincy wanted to know about Nicki Minaj. I don't really do pop culture stuff here because I will leave that to the other folks that can do that way better than me. If you're unfamiliar with this program, I seek to take the news and the happenings of the world. I editorialize it, maybe I poke fun of it, but I try and make it both understandable and relatable and show the consequences of these things that are happening. Because sometimes you may read a news headline and it may seem very far away, but I do my level best to try and make it very up close and personal. I know that we have been encouraged to keep our shows here at 1017 The Truth local and specific and focused on Milwaukee. But we here in Milwaukee, as voters in a battleground state, we need to know what is going on everywhere, because our state is such a bellwether when it comes to selecting presidents, but then also the sentiment of Wisconsin voters can be generalized to other places in the country. And the only way that we can get this democracy right, and I think some of you are starting to see this now, is if you have accurate information. A democracy only lives, thrives, and becomes successful when people have fact. Because when people spew misinformation, you get somebody like Donald Trump. It is as simple as that. We here believe in truth and fact because I want this democracy to continue. Now, we need to go through these growing pains now. So when we take it for granted or when we let fake, unvetted information and news permeate the airwaves and be a part of the media, this is what you get. So I want us to be able to, at some point, look back and say, hey, remember that stuff that happened in 2016 and then in 2024 through 2028? Yeah, let's not let that happen again. Here, read this book now. Read this Project 3030, Project 2516, or whatever the next Republican playbook is going to be. I wish we would have read it. I didn't read it. I said I read a lot. I read 20 pages of it because it was boring. But somewhere deep in the fine print was the explanation of what they are doing right now. If you go to our YouTube, you'll see a poll, because, we ask you a question every single day, because, damn it, I'm curious. Should ICE be eliminated? Now, you see how they are executing their orders. First and foremost, the Department of Homeland Security was an experiment. I don't think we ever needed it. It was a reaction to what happened on September 11th, where we had to create another almost $200 billion federal bureaucracy, which, with hindsight being 2020, you know what the Department of Homeland Security really is? It is a way in which the executive branch can hand out security contracts and procurement contracts to their friends. There was a period of time where members of the newly created, I think George Bush created, somewhere around 2004, 2005, because we were all scared because of September 11th, because we thought more terrorists were going to hit all of our buildings with planes. So there'd be hearings where members of Congress, both Democrats and Republicans, because back then they worked together a little bit better, where they would bring these chiefs and these managers and these high-level brass in the Department of Homeland Security in front of these congressional and senatorial committees. And the senators would ask questions like, how many staff do you have? Senator, we'll have to get back to you on that. Okay. How many contracts do you have for, weapons and other service procurements and other good? We're not entirely sure. They were just spending money because at that point in time, Americans really didn't care because we were still shook from September 11th. And when the American people are rocked back on their heels, that is when those sinister forces manipulate us. It's almost like if you show a tragedy, then Americans will open their wallets. If you show me low test scores at MPS, then the district can go ahead and ask you for another referendum and another $250 million. So if you show Americans something they should be fearful of, we'll turn a blind eye to reckless spending, and a lot of that reckless spending is exceptionally corrupt. The Department of Homeland Security, I think, is an extension of that. It also is one of those agencies where we had to be really, really careful not to elect a dictator or an authoritarian, because the power that an executive can have with that agency is frightening, because it really was an untested agency. Since 2004, we've had reasonable presidents in that they have not even tried to go as far as Donald Trump has. But there was always caution flags being thrown up like, if we get a bad president, they're going to use DHS to inflict major harm, not just on protecting the American people, but harming the American people. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So the question that I put up on the YouTube, well, actually my esteemed producer, she put the question up. I don't even know how she does it. I mean, I got a YouTube channel. I don't know how to do that stuff. Do you think ICE should be eliminated? Because there was a period of time where we didn't have them. We still need Customs and Border Patrol. I'm not saying get rid of them, but you don't have to send agents into American cities to track down individuals who, if you're here in this country, quote unquote, illegally, do you know it's not even a felony? It's like a civil penalty. We have local law enforcement, we have sheriffs, we have state troopers. We have so much law enforcement already that we don't need an additional layer. And here's what happens when DHS sends in their troops. And I call them troops because they're acting like a paramilitary organization. They supersede all other local law enforcement. The Minneapolis PD, they know that city. They know the people. They know the blocks. They know the neighborhoods. They know all of that stuff. The Hennepin County sheriffs and the sheriff's deputies, they know that area. They know those people. These federal agents come in, they don't know the area. They don't know the people, and they have jurisdiction over every single other law enforcement agent that are from those towns. I'll do you one better. Customs and Border Patrol agents and ICE have been arresting and pulling over and detaining local Minneapolis cops. I don't think we need them anymore. I think the Department of Homeland Security has grown too big. It's grown too powerful. And if we have presidents like this, they can use the agency for exactly what we see right now. Now, at the end of the day, and the day is not going to end anytime soon. We got about 3 years left in this day. The American people are going to be so fed up with how this president was able to abuse an agency, an organization that was created after September 11th to keep us here in America safe. All they said at some point in time, somebody says years ago, America, if we get a dictator or an authoritarian president, because there's always been that fear. George Washington had the fear that we may get a dictator or an authoritarian type of president. That's why they put in the emoluments clause and all these different things to stop a tyrannical president. It's the reason why we have a Second Amendment when you're thinking about it. Even though now you have Republicans that are not supporting the Second Amendment because, you know, if you bring a gun to a protest, you deserve to get killed. You know, that's backfiring on Republicans more than probably anything else. The Alex Preddy murder, some Republicans are still justifying. Well, he shouldn't have been out there. He should have complied. They're justifying that. But when them Republicans heard, especially the white ones, when they heard Donald Trump and others and Stephen Miller say, you can't bring a gun to a protest, that's the first damn thing that Republicans and conservatives bring. They'll put their gun on before they put on their their underwear. I bet a lot of them do wear panties. I bet they do. They got camouflage little thong panties they be wearing. Honey, have you seen my camo panties? Have you seen? You can't find them because they're camouflage? Where are my camo panties? But when they heard their Republicans and their Republican elected officials say, and the Stephen Millers of the world say, you can't bring a gun to a protest, that violates the Second Amendment in a way in which the Kyle Rittenhouse types really understand. Because that little white boy brought an AK-47, 15, AR-30, 3000, Gluck 3000 to the protest. 17 years old. Brought a machine gun to a protest in a city, in a town, in a state in which his little ass didn't even live. Ain't that wild? So when Donald Trump said, well, you shouldn't be bringing a gun to a protest, then it's stuff like that that's turning people away from Donald Trump. And so if you're a Second Amendment conservative, this president is your enemy now because he wants to take a fundamental right away from you. I'm talking about the people that so defended the Second Amendment after children were slaughtered at Sandy Hook. You still had people saying, yeah, I still want guns and gun rights. Don't take away my guns. But now you have Donald Trump and his acolytes saying, you can't bring a gun to a protest. Now I think it's little things like that where the dam is starting to break. I want to talk about, I'm going to take a break, come back. There's this new, maybe they're not new, a new focus on a cohort of men. Because lately, I've been concerned about the modern man and the perception of him. Now, You may disagree with me, but I don't believe that the masculinity of men is at all toxic, and far too many people have confused and conflated men being men and doing traditional man things that, still help society run. They're confusing that with masculinity because there has been, let's just say, some abuses of masculine power, right? And so now they want to essentially cast this dark dispersion over masculinity, and I think that hurts men. There's a guy named Scott Galloway who's like a college professor who does a lot of studying and analyzing of the modern man. And we also need to take a look at it because still a bunch of women would prefer to be in the woods with a bear than with a man. That's a problem. So I want to analyze exactly where men are and why we are falling behind. Now it's going to be something like 2-to-1, women graduating from college at higher rates than men. Their college admissions are even higher. Women, of course, mature faster. Women have all sorts of issues and problems with men. Marriage rates are going down. People aren't having children anymore. So something must be wrong with men. Women are making advances everywhere. They are excelling in every possible field and avenue in American society, except I just can't watch the WNBA. Other than that, women are great. Sorry, Rhea. Rhea, I've never seen you wear a WNBA jersey. Don't do it. And I'm not faulting you because nobody watches WNBA. I don't even know where I could get a WNBA jersey. I'd have to go to a game and just take it off of the woman's back.
My dad goes. He loves it. He watches.
Do you go with him?
No.
Nope. Exactly. So I want to talk about men because there's this new acronym. It's called NEAT. N-E-E-T. Neither in education, employment, and training. And there are millions of men who are considered these NEATs. They're doing nothing. They're going nowhere. They're living at home. They're unemployed. They have no ambition. And this cohort is growing. Now, there are NEAT cohorts of women and girls, but their number is going down, where the NEAT cohort of men is going up, neither in education, employment, or training. And this is a problem, and it's a future issue for the American workforce. So probably in the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about the NEATs. I'm going to take a break, come back, going to talk about what your rights are if you were ever stopped by Customs and Border Patrol or an immigration and customs enforcement officer, because if you pay attention to the rumors, ICE is staying at the Hilton. So if you happen to see one of those ICE agents and they attempt to pull you over, take you out of your vehicle, I'll tell you what your rights are. Only on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, you just won $5,000!
What would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
That just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 101.7thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
I got money now.
New year, new savings for property owners. Odom Investments and Property Management is kicking off the new year with a special offer you don't want to miss. Half off your first month property management fees. Whether you own one property or a full portfolio, let our experienced team take the stress out of managing your investment. Start the year strong and save money today. Call 855-ODOM-WAY or visit odomhomes.com. That's odomhomes.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Eight 212-1017, 833-212-1017. Put it in your phone and store it as cute guy I met at the club. Let's talk to Lisa. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good, Sherwin. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's on your mind, Lisa?
Okay, not to take you off of topic today, but
then don't take me off the topic, Lisa.
My niece, I told her I'm going to take it to the community because I don't think this is something known in the community, only to the naive and young kids. Okay, got stopped. Niece and nephew got stopped, right? They arrested them. Okay, they dropped the charges, but they made them sign a CI form. They made her.
Hold on, back up, Lisa. We need a lot. If you're going to explain this to us, you got to give us way more details. So they were driving in a vehicle and they got pulled over.
Yeah.
What was the reason for them getting pulled over?
Okay, they said they were speeding.
Okay, do you believe that they were speeding?
No, they weren't speeding because they were stopped when the police got behind them and stopped them. And it was, it was ice and snow outside, so they were not speeding. And then, what else did she say? She said, well, they told my nephew he had a warrant for his arrest.
Who was driving?
Have a warrant for his arrest. My nephew.
Okay.
And he did not have a warrant for his arrest. Okay, so they asked her, she was a passenger. He kept threatening her and telling her to give her ID. I said, you didn't have to give me your ID.
Yeah, legally she doesn't
have to. Next time, extra. Right. So she said he kept he was threatening her and everything. She gave her ID. Then he wanted to search. They wanted to search the car. For what reason? I don't know. Okay, so when they searched the car, they searched her purse. She had her gun in her purse, but she has a CCW. Okay. And then they found a little, probably about a couple of joints.
Was the nephew arrested? You said the police said he had a warrant, but he didn't. When did they find out he had no warrant?
I guess when they came back to find a reason to get him out the car and arrest him.
Whose vehicle was he driving? Who was the vehicle registered to?
It was my niece's vehicle.
Okay.
Registered to her.
All right.
And he's her brother.
All right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So after they went through all of that, they arrested both of them, put them, locked them up. They later dropped the charges.
Uh-huh.
They told both of them to sign a CI form. Well, he wasn't silly because he'd been there.
What's the CI form?
But she, what do you call that? One that looks into a snitch.
Confidential informant? They wanted them to snitch?
Thank you. Yes. They told her if she don't snitch, they were, after 30 days, they would charge her with the charges. I said, how can they charge you with charges that you don't have? If they drop the charges, then what charges do you have? what can they come back after 30 days? So this is the thing now. They're making these kids sign these CI forms to be snitches for them. I said, are you crazy? You go out.
They must be
okay,
investigating something specific, because it makes no sense for law enforcement just to pull over random black people and ask them to be snitches. Like, that's the part I'm not. What are they? So do you know what accused? So he didn't have a warrant, obviously, but do you know what he was accused of? Your nephew was accused of?
What she was. Now he didn't. They let both of them go. They had dropped the charges.
Who had the supposed warrant?
He didn't have my nephew. He didn't have a warrant. They lied to him and told him he had a warrant.
All right.
Yeah, they got it all recorded. They had to, they didn't have their cameras on them. My nephew said, "Don't you supposed to have your camera on?" And then he went back and he turned his camera on, and the guy that arrested my niece turned his camera on. So some of the stuff they missed, but they didn't have a warrant for him.
All right.
But they're making these kids sign the CI form, threatening them under duress. Then tell them, don't tell nobody. Just take a couple of pictures of houses and everything. I said, well, just do that. Take a couple of pictures of houses and give them houses and show down and show.
Wait a minute. You're telling your niece and your nephew that they should be cooperating with law enforcement? They clearly violated their rights. You telling them to be snitches?
No, look. This is how I think. If you want me to be a dumb and a beehole, I'm going to be one right with you. Now, you told me to take pictures of houses. I'm going to take pictures of houses. And I'm going to sit down and show you. I'm like, oh, this is a pretty house here, and this is a pretty house here. Because
you can't play with law enforcement. Like, you can't play dumb with them. If they sign something,
with me.
This is not going to end
but
well.
They didn't give her a copy.
Did they sign the CIs?
She signed the CI. He didn't, because she didn't know what that meant. They just threatened her and told her, you better sign this, you got to sign that. If you don't sign this, after 30 days, we're going to charge you.
Lisa, get an attorney for your niece and your nephew. You need a defense attorney immediately. Immediately, you need a lawyer.
Right, because I think if you have no charges, what are you being charged for?
Get a lawyer. I can't answer no more questions, because this is out of my understanding.
But it's in the community. Is that something that they do now to our kids? Make them sign that CI form? If y'all getting paid $80-some thousand a year, what do you need our kids for?
So when we say kids,
you're not doing your job.
How old is the niece and the nephew?
Well, 31.
Oh my God! What?
32.
They're in their 30s and they signed this. Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't got.
Yeah,
When you say kids, Lisa, I'm thinking 16 years old.
Oh no! But
they're probably parents. All right, we're done talking. Thank you. Y'all need to stop calling grandparents kids. What the hell? If you have no warrants and there's no probable cause for the stop, and you get they can arrest you. They can hold you legally for 72 hours until they find something to charge you with. But if a police officer puts a confidential informant contract in front of you, tell them to kiss your black or the white or maybe beige ass. What is happening? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back for hour 2.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
Regroup, rethink, and reshape, and get on the front lines. It's only to your benefit. I always tell people, you helping the overall ideal of a better community, it actually helps you out. It helps you out. It helps your family out. It's time. Do not bring that reactionary attitude into the new year. This is the best time to start fresh. This is the plot. They plot this out, and it's been going on for years. This is normal. This is the way it is. This is where we are right now. It's all buddy-buddy. And if you're not a part of the friend situation, you're not getting in. They don't want nobody getting in and seeing where the messy. That's why I'll never get in. Because they know I'm not going to play around about my community. They know I'm not going to sit in no meetings and see y'all shucking and jiving and sniggling and giggling and not say nothing about it. I'm going to tell you to shut up.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about direct relief. a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the new 101.7 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 101.7 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Has a party. The boys are, they're polite, they're nice, but they're dopes. They don't make eye contact.
Right.
They don't. Some of the girls look like they could be the junior senator from Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. Hello, Mr. Galloway. What a lovely home you have. I mean, they're in a different league from a maturity standpoint. And what's weird, and we don't know why, is the gulf in maturity is broadening between boys and girls. Girls are menstruating earlier, and boys' testicles are descending later. And we don't know if it's pesticides or the environment. But if you have 2 17-year-old seniors in high school applying to college, the 17-year-old girl is basically competing against a 15-and-a-half-year-old girl called a boy. Their prefrontal cortex is 18 months less mature and doesn't catch up until it's 25. And so when we leveled the playing field academically, girls just blew by boys. And like I said, it used to be 40-60 female to male college enrollment. Now it's 60-40, and it's going to be 2-to-1 graduation rates because boys drop out at a greater rate. Boys are 4 times more likely to kill themselves than girls, 3 times more likely to be homeless or addicted, and 12 times more likely to be incarcerated. I mean, we have a homeless and an opiate crisis, but what we really have is a male homeless and a male opiate crisis. So the statistics are just remarkable. There are 3 times as many young men who are called NEETs, and that's neither in education, employment, or in training. Literally doing nothing. Only 1 in 3 men under the age...
They're vaping.
They're vaping. Go ahead. Netflix. 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 is in a relationship. It's 2 in 3 women. And you think, well, that's mathematically impossible. It's not, because women are dating older because they want more economically and emotionally viable men.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. So that is Professor Scott Galloway. He is shedding light on this crisis that boys and men are going through, and he's trying to illustrate that it's not boding well for American society, especially when it comes to college enrollment, college graduation, and also some of the negative statistics. Men are much more likely to be incarcerated, commit suicide, and a whole bunch of other negative indicators, and this problem is going to get worse before it gets better. But he defines this cohort of men. It's a growing cohort of men called NEETs, neither in education, training, or employment. Neither in education, employment, or training. NEET is the acronym. And one of our solutions, or our proposed solutions for NEETs, at least in Milwaukee, is the trades. I know the trades keeps coming up, and I want to delve into that because if this cohort of men, and a lot of them are African American men, and if this cohort of men who are not in education, employment, or any kind of training, if that grows, then our community is ripe for manipulation, and it also is not pointing us in the right direction if we want to have much more like financial assets, because this cohort of men that are not employed, that are not being trained, what's the likelihood that they're going to own a home? What's the likelihood they're going to be a good husband, they're going to be a good father, et cetera? So I kind of want to wrap our arms around this cohort. Not that we're going to fix it today, but I just want people to be more aware, because you may have a son or a young man that you know, or hell, an older man like Lisa's nieces and nephews who I thought were teenagers turn out to be in their 30s. Maybe they're a part of this cohort of NEETs. You know what I said I was going to do? Getting ahead of myself. I want to go over your rights if you get pulled over or stopped by CBP or ICE. Can we do that real quick? We're going to do that because I need you to have this information, and I want it documented for the podcast so that someone can refer back to this. All right, here we go. If stopped by ICE or CBP, you have the right to remain silent, refuse consent to search of your person, vehicle, or home, and ask to speak with an attorney. You do not have to disclose your immigration status or country of birth, and do not sign any documents without a lawyer. Lisa, I hope you're still listening, because your niece and your nephew who are in their 30s, they shouldn't have signed any documents without their lawyers. But also, Lisa, we got some text messages saying your niece and your nephew are not telling you the whole story. In fact, I know they're not. They might be involved in things that they have not made their Aunt Lisa privy to, because there certainly is more to the story, because that makes zero sense why two people that were pulled over, neither of which have any warrants, were taken down, were arrested, were detained, and then asked to sign confidential informant paperwork. They're involved in something on it. They just didn't tell Lisa. But Lisa, I also understand why they didn't tell you, because if they were honest with you and told you the truth, you might be real mad at them. And they don't want their Aunt Lisa mad at them. Key rights and actions in encounters with immigration agents, ICE, or Customs and Border Protection. First, remain silent. You can say, I'm going to remain silent and I want to speak to a lawyer. Do not run or resist. Stay calm. Keep your hands visible. Do not lie or show false documents. Ask to leave. If you are free to leave, they will let you go. And if they say yes, when you ask if you are free to leave, then calmly walk away. One. Rhea just asked a very important question. She asked it in my ear. I don't think she asked it over the air, but now I'm going to expose it. She said, Lisa doesn't have legs, right? She has one. No, she can still kick. I mean, with help, she can kick. You have the right to refuse a search. You can state, I do not consent to a search. At home, do not open your door. Ask them to pass a warrant signed by a judge, not an ICE officer, under the door. Carry documents. If you are over 18, carry. Valid immigration documents such as a green card, work permit, if you have them, and document everything. Record officers if safe to do so. Note badge numbers and contact an attorney. So I think that these suggestions are more for... They sound almost like what you would do if you get pulled over or stopped by local law enforcement. At the end of the day, I don't think you have any rights at all. I'm just being honest with you. Because I have seen video footage of ICE agents, either ICE or Customs and Border Protection, being threatened by individuals who are peacefully protesting by filming, and they can be in a distance. I have seen people get hit with pepper balls and with tear gas because they are recording from a distance. I don't think that you have any rights. I believe that when Donald Trump used the 2020 election, because he said the 2020 election was stolen from him. Ladies and gentlemen, that was what we call a political catalyst. He used that event, and it wasn't real, because the 2020 election was the most secure election we've ever had in the United States history because of all of the suspected voter fraud. There was very little, if any. And the voter fraud that we do find, it's always human error, because some of our poll workers are 94 years old. God bless them. So the 2020 election was one that Donald Trump absolutely lost. But if he uses that lie, then it allows him to say, well, maybe we should suspend the Constitution, because he said that before, but we didn't pay any attention. A president can't just say, let's just suspend the Constitution for the hell of it. They need some kind of a catalyst. Trump used the fact that he thought the 2020 election was stolen from him. So one of his pieces of retribution was, I'm going to suspend the Constitution. And in doing so, it takes away our rights. In suspending the Constitution, now you can have Donald Trump and Stephen Miller say what? Don't bring a gun to the protest. Why? Because they've suspended the Constitution. You all know that you can bring firearms to a protest. You can open carry. If you're a concealed carry person, you can have your weapon on your person where nobody can see it, and that is legal and that is legitimate in the United States and in states that allow concealed carry. But because the Trump administration has right under your goddamn noses suspended the Constitution, now they're telling you can't bring guns to a protest, because guess what happens if you do? Agents will kill you. Let's talk to Cole, shall we? Cole, you're on 101.7 The Truth.
Hey, Sherwin, what's happening?
Hey, Cole, what's new?
So I got a question for you, just to get your opinion on something about this NEAT situation.
Yes.
Okay, I'm Gen X. When we were coming up, no one showed us how to do a whole lot of stuff that we just did because either we had to or we wanted to, or we just end up doing it because that was the thing to do. What's the difference between our generation and this new generation that either they have to be forced to or shown everything in order for them to do it?
Oh, that's a complicated question. When did you graduate from high school?
1990.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Custer.
All right. I'm not sure what specialty Custer had, but there was probably some kind of a trade or technical education somewhere in Custer. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff. So after the No Child Left Behind Act, they took a lot of those programs out of schools and they focused on testing, where there was a lot of our high schools, especially in the city of Milwaukee, were designed to get young people ready to take advantage of the current economy and the job opportunities in the city of Milwaukee. But when testing became predominant, there was less early instruction of some of those very needed and necessary skills. The other thing is the proliferation of the internet, where all they see is just rich people. You don't see people working hard. You don't see people grinding it out and providing, necessary labors to keep society running. All you see is people making music and being rich and playing around in a bed of money. Working is no longer sexy. The benefits of working is what the sexy part is, but they're leaving out the work. Our generation was much more tactile. It was much more manual. Everything is digital now. Everything is Google. Everything is online. Those mediums of getting information does not bode well for doing hard manual work. We had to develop a work ethic, because if you didn't have one, you were screwed. Nowadays, you just have to know how to put in really good search inquiries and real good search queries in order to be successful, or at least that's what young people think. Now, I'm not explaining the entire thing, but I think that the world in which we grew up in, which was much more tactile and manual, like if we want information, we had to take our happy black asses to the library, know the Dewey Decimal System, go and find the book if the book was there. If we wanted to do research, we had to find an Encyclopedia World Book or Encyclopedia Britannica, and the S's and W's were always stolen. So what we had to do to even get information was so much more laborious, and because it's been made so easy nowadays, I think that has perpetuated the laziness. But also, you got parents that suck. Don't tell my baby what the teacher is trying to tell the mom, like, the kid is acting up in school. The teacher says, hey, we're concerned about your son, ma'am. Miss Jenkins, your son is acting up in school. Don't you call me, you heifer. I don't care if you is his teacher. I'm going to come to the school and whoop your ass. How do you think that teacher is going to interact with that child from that point forward? Right to safety and security, and that kid's going to get expelled. So I'm sorry to talk your ear off, but you called me for the answer.
Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking about back when I was in school, teachers could put their hands on you.
Oh, not when I was in school. They didn't. But also, I went to a majority white school, and white parents would have sued.
I went to a.
Well, Custer had white kids in the 90s.
Well, it did. It was about 60-40.
Yeah, it was.
When I went.
Okay.
When I was in elementary school, I went to St. Leo's, and those nuns, they put their hands on you.
Oh, yeah, private schools, absolutely. Them nuns kicked ass.
Yeah, just great work. All right. Thanks, Sherwin. I appreciate that explanation, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Thank you, Cole. Appreciate your call. Yeah, nuns are notoriously angry. I know some people and got some friends that went to Catholic schools, specifically, say from kindergarten to 8th grade, then they went to public schools for high school. Them nuns was mean. I think it's because nuns can't get laid. I'm almost positive that they have to be celibate. That would make anybody angry. That would make anyone very mad if you can't get polished every now and again. All right, let's see what we got on the NEETs here. The NEET population, neither in education, employment, or training among young American men, remains sizable and is deeply intertwined with broader socioeconomic trends and inequalities. So my focus is African American men and boys that are in this category of NEET because it makes them not suitable to be partnered with women. Because like Scott Galloway said, women are excelling. Women are getting the jobs, the promotions, they're getting the degrees, they're graduating from college, soon to be at a 2-to-1 ratio. And why would a woman want a man who is not at least on her level? And so as this trend continues, it is going to be even more difficult for educated, well-read, professionally employed women to find a suitable mate. Eventually, women are just going to start dating other women if they're not doing that already. Why it cannot be my concern, at least at this point, from this particular pedestal in which I am sitting on, my ivory tower, I can't be concerned about Caucasian NEETs because they're going to be manipulated to think that it's Mexicans and black people and minorities and illegal immigrants as to why they're not successful. And they're so far gone, we're never going to get them back. The NEETs are Trump's cohort. These are the ones that are still loyal to Donald Trump and still loyal to whatever this incarnation of the Republican Party is, even though Republican members of Congress are turning on Trump. Because with white men, they were promised everything in this country, every single opportunity. And if they don't get it because our education system, let's just be clear, our public education system is failing us. Look at people's just understanding of democracy. It's almost non-existent. Our education when it comes to civics, almost non-existent. Our education when it comes to money and finance, almost non-existent. And if we are sending people out into the world without strong educational background in those aforementioned categories, our society is screwed. Now, remember, if our society is screwed, somebody is going to take advantage of that. Somebody is going to benefit. Somebody is going to profit. Yesterday, I talked about the profitability of poverty and how African-American neighborhoods that have depressed property values and oftentimes lower property taxes are ripe for gentrification. And the ultimate conclusion is, right now in America, if there's a neighborhood that is 51% or more African American, it is undervalued by $150 billion. We look at that two ways. The African American community is being treated unfairly simply because they are black and because the neighborhood is considered black. The properties, even if that property is the same size, same square footage, if you put it in a white neighborhood, it would be worth more money. So collectively, the Biden administration gave us some data that the Trump administration never would do because they fired all the people that collect this kind of racial data. So when the Trump administration got rid of DEI, they also got rid of the statisticians that work for the federal government that give us this data so we can make policy to fix it. Because if you don't have the data, you can't make the policy to fix it. The Biden administration said black neighborhoods are devalued at $150 billion. So either you give that money or increase the property values to where they are fair and on parity with white neighborhoods and white communities, because that's equity coming out of our pockets. Or white people can buy houses in the black community for $150 billion collective discount. So when black men are in this category of NEET, neither in education, employment, or training, this is incumbent upon us to try and figure out a remedy. But when white men are involved in that same cohort of NEET, they will be cannon fodder for the Republican Party, because it's very easy to tell a white man that it's not his lack of ambition, motivation, and skill. You tell that white man it's this Mexican, it's this black person that's your problem. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll take a phone call at 833-212-1017. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The revolution starts in our mind, right? You know when Gil Scott-Heron said the revolution won't be televised? Like he didn't mean that you won't be able to watch it on TV. He means the revolution starts in your mind. You nincompoop. Y'all been running around saying that for 60 years. The revolution won't be televised and didn't even know what the hell it meant. It starts with us.
Let him cook. Watch all your favorite 1017 The Truth shows by subscribing to 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the Deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
This is your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update on the new 1017 The Truth.
Two big wins to highlight as we start on the boys' side in the Blue Division. The Golden Meyer Owls went on the road and took down the Milwaukee Reagan Huskies 68-56 behind an unreal performance from their 1-2 punch. Junior forward Chris Reddick was everywhere, posting an absurd double-double with 25 points and 18 rebounds. But somehow that wasn't even the wildest stat line of the night, as senior Caleb Colbert went full video game mode, recording a quadruple-double with 22 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and 10 steals. And now to the girls on the gold side of the division, as the Milwaukee Hamilton Wildcats dominated on the road Tuesday night at Carmen Northwest, cruising to a 62-35 win. Junior Josiah Collins led the charge, finishing with a strong double-double of 25 points and 10 rebounds.
This has been your Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference Basketball Weekly Update. MPS proud and MPS strong. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
An increasing number of NEETs, which stands for neither in education, employment, or training, particularly young men, poses significant challenges to societal and economic stability. Economically, NEET status contributes to reduced labor force participation, leading to lower gross domestic product, so the overall economic output of the country, and higher public expenditure on social welfare programs like SNAP. When you have this lower labor force participation, I need folks to know this now. This is core to the economic policy of the Trump administration. It's a core to why he has tariffs. None of that stuff is going to work. Let me tell you why. There are probably people somewhere in the Trump administration that understand data, fact, and statistics. It's just the people that make the decisions don't care, because those people that make the decisions, the only data they want is how Donald Trump is feeling that morning. If you have less and less American men in the workforce that are either employed or in training or at least going to school, if there's less American people, let me say, in the workforce, you have to get foreign labor, because people in other countries have the skill set. Our young people don't, or not at the same rate, because believe it or not, there's other countries all they do is invest in education for their children. So just a simple matter of math. If there are less Americans in education, in employment and training, the jobs still have to get done. The work, the labor still need to be performed. Our society can't stop because there's large, open positions at these very important companies performing these different jobs, infrastructure jobs, construction jobs, whatever the hell they are, because we have shortages, and we have shortages of teachers. We've got shortages all throughout the healthcare industry. And as people are growing older, our reliance on healthcare is going to grow. But if you have an immigration policy that does not allow people that have that training that can fill these jobs to come into this country, Americans are going to suffer. Now, remember, when there is suffering in this country, somebody is going to take advantage, somebody's going to manipulate, and somebody's going to get rich. This is all being done on purpose. This is not accident. Nothing in this country happens on accident. In fact, like urban planning, just the plans that they have for the city of Milwaukee are 50 years in the future. We are doing things right now to shape how Milwaukee is going to look in 50 years. So, in the last, 10, 15 years, 20 years, we've had this incredible resurgence of downtown. We tore down the freeway. We built the Fiserv Forum. We have the Deer District. We have the Riverwalk. We have all this condo development. We have all this money being poured into downtown. We have the damn streetcar. Do you think that they just decided that the day the committee voted? No! Urban planning goes back to the 1970s and the 1980s because they knew that Milwaukee was going to be a post-industrial city. They planned for this. And if you expand it nationwide, it's even more obvious that they planned for what the future is going to look like. Let's talk to that one guy. You're on 101.7 The Truth. Last time you called, you forgot what you was going to say, man.
I got nervous and I kind of choked up. but it's all good now. So yeah, what we're witnessing is the rise of women. May that be economically and evolutionary too. Like we're seeing it ourselves. These women are becoming like they grow faster than the boys, and it's to the point where it's like it's a huge age gap, and the boys aren't they're not coming up right. And I have two little brothers, and they're not okay. They're not coming, and I have other family that are young boys, and I can see that they're not right. There's something up. It might, like the other guy that called, it might be something that we're eating that's causing this evolutionary change. But at this rate, we're going to get replaced to the point where we're just going to be used as breeding purposes, I think.
No, we're not. Nobody wants to breed with us. Trust me.
Well, who knows, man? Have you ever kept chickens before?
What do you think?
I have. Here's an example. I kept chickens before when I was younger, and I didn't have a rooster. And I watched this happen. One of the hens took the role as a rooster, and she even sang like a rooster. And she would even try to mount some of them, thinking she's a rooster.
She was gay.
So
she was a gay rooster.
If this happens in animals,
she was gay.
If this happens in animals, what's not to say it can happen in humans? But I see some women that are just manly now. And they date other women, and I'm seeing us men becoming more like the women.
None of that is new. None of that's new, though.
I know it's not new, but This is the topic, and it's getting worse, though. Getting, progressing more.
All right.
See what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. And, I got a whole list of stuff that men do that's gay. Absolutely.
But I'm not talking about, not talking about having long, beautiful, black, curly hair. Talking about their character, what makes a man. Their characters, but I'm seeing now, these men have these characters of one of a teenage girl on her cycle. And my wife, she works in the East Side, and she tells me, "What's wrong with these men here? Why do they complain like women?" I don't know. I can tell you.
Well, we're going to figure it out, but thank you for sharing that with us, that one guy.
It out, man.
Oh, okay.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
All right, thank you for remembering what you were going to say. All right then, buddy. Girls, have biologically always matured faster than boys. None of that should be in dispute, especially because girls, when they begin their menstruation cycle, technically they can be mothers. So biologically, they are about 1.5 to 2 years more mature than boys of a similar age, and they remain that until the prefrontal cortex is fully developed in boys at the age of 25. So the prefrontal cortex, which is involved in impulse control and decision making, is not fully formed in boys and girls too until the age of 25, when it all kind of levels out and evens out. The reason why men and boys had made so much advancement in over women, even though girls mature faster, is because we marginalized girls. We funneled them into certain classes in school. We didn't really have science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities for girls. We just put them in like home ec classes and told them to cook and clean and be traditional wives and be domestic. So when we have evened the playing field, at least educationally, the maturity that women have on men is starting to exhibit itself, and men are being shown to be exactly what we are. We are children way, way longer. And because our society is also changing and shifting, men don't really know what their place is. And as we have this growing number of NEETs, it is now impacting the American economy. And it also has an impact on immigration, because if young men are not in employment, in training, or being educated, then we're going to need these labors to be performed by other people. And sometimes those other people come from other countries. But when you have an administration like this one that is literally punishing and killing and locking away people that are in this country to work, to take advantage of the fact that Americans are not trained to do some of the jobs that are necessary in the 21st century, we're really, really in a bad spot. But all of this, I guess, this suffering, and some of it is political, because we saw this stuff coming years and years ago. We saw the failures of No Child Left Behind legislation. We still see the failures of public education just in its current output, but also in our political ethos of the day. It is anti-intellectual. You tell me what society can ever be successful if the thought of the day is anti-intellectual. Trumpism represents the anti-intellectual segment of American society. Now, we've always had Republicans and conservatives, but never in any point in American history would you have 75 million Americans that voted for this. And I refuse to believe that people, they didn't know what they were voting for. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Because that cohort has been growing, the people that can be easily manipulated, because if the economy sucks and they're out of a job, instead of them looking at those who should be creating jobs and making American life easier for Americans, they're telling people, no, it's not our fault. It's not the government's fault. It's not policymakers' fault. It's that Mexican who came over here from Guadalajara. They're your problem. Because when Americans are anxious, when we're upset, when we are deprived of resources, we're very, very angry. Now, that anger needs to be channeled, okay? Because if that anger gets channeled at the wealthy and at the elites, you're going to have a revolution. So what you do is you use race. Race is a useful tool in this country, and it is why I, as a radio host, continue to talk about it, because if you don't know it and understand race and the impact of race academically, your dumb ass is going to get manipulated too. But that's why I'm here, because I love you. Some of you. Some of you I wouldn't urinate on if you were on fire. What? I would have to keep the urine for someone who's on fire that I like. I only have a certain amount of urine. Talk about a bad day. If you're on fire and people are peeing on you because they love you. Oh no, Sherwin's on fire. Quick, everybody, pee. I'd be like, oh, it's getting in my mouth, but I'm not on fire anymore. Okay, thanks, guys. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
I caught an Uber in the evening, and my show comes on. The playback is at 6. It comes on. My show comes on at 6 to 9. The driver was Somalian, and I was just, in the back seat. And so he was listening to my show. And we was talking about what was going on in Minnesota.
What was his take?
No, he liked my show. He liked it. He liked my show. He didn't know it was me, though. He didn't know that the person that was on the radio was in his back seat. So what was funny was I was listening to me and listening to how he was listening to the show. And so I asked him, I said, you like that show? And he was like, oh, yeah, I love that show.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m., live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sherwin on the mic, better tune in now. Milwaukee Flame, he be holding it down. Best in the biz, put respect on the name. Whole nation know he ahead of the game. Sherwin on the mic, better tune in now. Milwaukee Flame, he be holding it down. Best in the biz, put respect on the name. Whole nation know he ahead of the game.
Turn the dial up, it's that power in the voice. Sherwin speak truth, he ain't never had a choice. Milwaukee on the map, he connecting all the noise. Talk real, walk real, never playing with the toys.
Specific outcomes for NEET young men. NEET stands for neither in education, employment, or training. NEET young men are less likely to marry due to economic instability and social exclusion. They don't even go on dates. They don't even. You gotta go on dates, guys. Valentine's Day coming up tomorrow, Friday, 11 a.m. You guys know my new segment called The Milwaukee Experience, where I talk about all of the fun things to do in the city. You gotta get out. Yeah, it's been a little cold. It's winter time, but you gotta go and explore the city. There's still so many fun things to do. I'm gonna give you guys some date ideas. You know what? This was years ago. We did a matchmaking segment. I mean, I don't think I'll ever do it again because it could be a disaster. I think we got lucky, though. So there was a lady that called in and said she had a niece. No, it wasn't Lisa. But this lady called in. She was concerned about her niece. And her niece was attractive and well-educated, like owned a house, had a great job, but just couldn't find a man. And so I, of course, had many questions. I was like, I'll be the judge of the attractiveness. So the aunt got permission from the niece, sent us a picture of the niece. Oh, what a knockout. She absolutely was absolutely beautiful. And so then I described what the niece looked like, and a bunch of guys called in, and I was interviewing men that would potentially be set up with this woman. And we found a guy who owned like 3 properties. He owns cars. He has some small businesses, whatever. And they actually met. We arranged, which I do not recommend you ever doing this because I wouldn't want to assume liability of what could happen if these 2 people that we arranged to meet don't work out. But they went on a second date even. Then we didn't hear from them after that. But yeah, we actually played matchmaker because I get it. There's not a lot of dateable or marriageable men. And Milwaukee's also a very small market. It's made even more complicated because women do have standards because they should. And if they want a man that is equal to them or more successful, and he's got to be handsome and have a whole bunch of other qualities and be nice and all these other things, like that narrows down the field of men significantly. Then you have to look at what age is he? Is he married? Is he straight? Is he even in the dating market? So you have a lot of women, like a surplus of women, that are certainly marriageable and dateable, got great jobs and careers and money, and they're healed, emotionally stable. But the number of men that they have to choose from is limited. But there are men out there that do fit the criteria. The problem is those men have a lot of choices of women. A lot, and it makes an incredible imbalance and mismatch. Neat young men have elevated risks of addiction with odds ratios of 1.43 for substance use problems overall, including alcohol, 1.28, cannabis, 1.62, and other drugs, 1.99. This stems from coping mechanisms for unemployment-related stress and social isolation. Neat men are more likely to be incarcerated, and it's associated with higher criminal behavior by a factor of 2.06, increasing their incarceration likelihood. Young men from non-intact families who are more prone to neat face double odds of imprisonment compared to those from stable homes. Neat men are more prone to suicide. Young men exhibit significantly higher suicidality. In fact, the suicidality is higher than the likelihood they're going to prison and be addicted. The suicidality is almost 3.0. There's 2.84. That's linked to depression, isolation, and economic despair. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for young adult men, with greater risks, overwhelmingly higher risks, due to impulsive behaviors that is uniquely found in men versus women. So there's real consequences to this phenomenon that's going on. But here's the thing. It seems that our community has come up with a solution. Well, first, it's renting from Barada. That's the first thing you got to do. Get you a... Kidding. Don't rent from him because you guys are not going to like it, apparently. And then you're going to call our radio show, and then people are going to make a bunch of AI songs about how much they hate Barada, all while renewing their leases, which I find a bit ironic. But one of the solutions that we have come up with has been the trades, and logically it makes sense. Objectively it makes sense, because if let's just say we're pausing immigration, even though immigration is more than just a pause, we are deporting people that are in some cases here performing labors. Because you know the one thing that never made any sense to me, and maybe it made sense to you, there was a fallacy or a stereotype or a generalization that the foreigners were here doing nothing. They're just getting a bunch of welfare. They're getting free health care. They're getting food stamp benefits, whatever. Like, a lot of Americans understood that. Some of that 75 million that voted for him think, oh, they're just over here freeloading. You know where the original immigration raids were happening at? Home Depot, where men were going and getting supplies for the labors that they were performing in the cities in which they were residing. So the whole fallacy of, oh, they're not working, they get a lot of these people from work. If you look at where they're raiding workplaces. So stop saying that, oh, they're over here they're not working, they're not contributing, they're just freeloading. That's why the Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Protection is going to jobs to take these people. But here's the other part that Americans are missing. You're not getting hired. Those that were unemployed are likely still unemployed because there was a bill of goods sold to vulnerable people. And we know who the vulnerable people are because they have been identified, and it's young men, and these young men are dangerous. We're over here trying to solve the crime problem in Milwaukee, like, oh, we have all the shootings and we have all of these homicides. A lot of the men that we are talking about who are committing some of these most violent acts in our communities are these NEETs. Now, we came up with a solution. Our solution is get them involved in the trades, and people are always talking about how much money that they can make. I want to talk about that again because it's a solution that you know that I don't disagree with it, but it's not as easy as people make it out to be. Because it's almost like these men who are unskilled, untrained, depressed, drunk, and high, you're now making it their fault that they're not a damn welder. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about exactly what you need and the kind of skills you need to have in order to get into a variety of trades that I have listed. And here's what we're going to do now. We are now going to test our public schools. See, our public schools are often testing our kids. Now, we, the taxpayers, and don't worry, they're going to ask for another referendum probably next year or certainly by 2028, and it's going to be probably $300 million. Oh, you didn't like your property tax bill this year? Huh, you wait. It's going to be so much bigger. Ladies, I know you think bigger is better, but not when it comes to taxes. I'm going to list off the skills that are necessary for someone to be successful and gainfully employed in a number of the trades because I cannot have you all dismissing the trades as being easy. And we're going to see if our public schools provide these skills to young men or to young women. If our public schools are outputting young people that have the skills that are necessary to either get into the trades directly or at least start your trade in technical education, because you got to know something about fire to be a welder, right? So let's see if our public education that we are funding to a very high level, if it's informing and instructing our young people and providing them with the skill set to get involved in the trades that all of you, well, most of you think is the solution for the black NEETs. And remember, NEET stands for Neither in Education, Employment, and Training. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, you just won $5,000!
What would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
That just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 101.7thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
I got money now.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
There's nothing like Milwaukee Bucks basketball at Fiserv Forum. The dunks, the defense, the roar of 17,000 fans. It's even better when you're with friends or family. From jaw-dropping plays to buzzer-beating threes, every game is packed with unforgettable moments that you'll get to share together. So gather your crew and get your single game tickets today at bucks.com/single. That's bucks.com/single.
Every child deserves a school that sees their brilliance. At Milwaukee College Prep, they believe in high expectations, strong character, and academic excellence starting as early as age of 3. MCP scholars continue to outperform their peers across Milwaukee. And the best part about it all, Milwaukee College Prep is tuition free. If you're looking for a school that partners with you, challenges your child, and prepares them for college and beyond, Milwaukee College Prep is the place. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to learn more. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it.
So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
If one of the solutions to the growing cohort of NEETs, and I'm concerned about African American boys, because that's the community in which I live in. One of the reasons why I put so much emphasis on education and quality education, and black children need educational choice. This is why I won't vote for a damn Democrat that wants to take away the school choice program. School choice programs allow families that don't have a bunch of money, that don't have enough money to pay really expensive tuition, to send their children to private schools. Because right now, private schools, and some of them do provide a better education. Let me tell you why. Because a lot of Wisconsin elected officials either went to or sent their kids to these private schools, including Mandela Barnes, who was former lieutenant governor, former member of the Wisconsin State Assembly, and now is a candidate for governor. He went to a private school. State Senator Chris Larson went to Thomas More. My Senator LaTanya Johnson sent her daughter to Pius High School, which is a high-performing private school. And she admitted on air with me many years ago that if it wasn't for the parental choice program, she never could have sent her daughter to Pius, because on a legislator's salary, she couldn't afford it. Her daughter is now a college graduate and is professionally employed. So stop telling me that private schools cannot provide, in some cases, a reasonable or better alternative, because the whole point is to get our damn kids trained and educated to take advantage of job opportunities that foreigners have to take advantage of. But now we're kicking the damn foreigners out of the country. What do you think is going to happen to the American economy if we continue on this track? Now, white folks, I'm going to expect y'all to get your act together, because y'all don't listen to us no way. Even when black people have the answers, for some reason, white folks don't want to listen to us until it's too late. We told y'all that the police and law enforcement was murderous. Now look at you. So we're done talking to you. I'm going to worry about my community. You worry about yours. Capiche? I mean, no offense. I mean, y'all wanted segregation to come back anyway. We're tired of talking to y'all. Core academic and cognitive skills across all of the trades. These are the skills that young people need to get involved in the trades, because we so easily and cavalierly suggest the trades as the answer to the NEET problem that we have amongst African American men and boys. And NEET means neither in education, employment, and training. Here are the skills that you need. Tradespeople routinely use algebra, formulas, ratios, and variables, geometry, angles, slopes, and layouts, trigonometry, load distribution, offsets, and bends, arithmetic under pressure. You got to do a lot of math in your head, and you got to do conversions on the fly in your head, measurement precision, fractions of up to 1/32 of an inch and 1,000th of an inch in welding. The math is applied without calculators, often in poor lighting, extreme heat, cold weather, or confined spaces. And I want you to go and look at the DPI report card on MPS. Our children's math scores, black children's math scores, are so low that they'll never be involved in the trades, because they don't know enough algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and can do that arithmetic in their head and under pressure in hot and cold conditions, in low lighting and confined spaces. So stop suggesting the trades, because our kids are not getting these skills in school. And don't think that they're going to pay tuition and learn this stuff in college. They're probably not going to go to college. I'm not done. There's more. Reading and reading comprehension. If you look at the DPI report card on MPS, our kids can't read. They literally can't. But in order to be in the trades, they require professional levels of literacy, including technical manuals that are often 300 pages in length. And this is across all the trades. They have to know building codes by heart. IBC building codes, NEC building codes, IPC building codes, and IMC building codes. I don't even know what those are. They have to know and understand and comprehend blueprints and schematics. Manufacturer specifications and installation standards have to be known by heart, and they have to know and memorize safety documentation from OSHA and MSDS. But they have low levels of reading comprehension, so how in the hell are they going to be successful? Y'all make it seem like the trades are a joke. The trades are probably harder work and more academically rigorous than what most of you do right now. Most of you are at home or in a cubicle with your shoes off. Or you're at home not wearing any pants. Because guess what? If I was working from home, you think I'd have pants on? No. They must interpret dense, legalistic language, cross-reference tables and footnotes, understand what is called conditional logic, if/then requirements, and then stay current with code updates every 3 years. They have to get retrained. They need to have technical aptitude and systems, not training, but systems thinking. Tradespeople must understand cause and effect relationships, multi-system integration, failure diagnostics, not just installation, tolerances and margins of error, long-term system behavior. That's engineering that they have to know. There's a bit of engineering in every single one of the trades, and engineering is math. But you just think that, oh, our kids are just going to go get in the trades. I'm not even close to done yet. Let's look at HVAC, because we know HVAC is a problem, because apparently not enough people have HVAC companies or have enough available contractors, because the people that live in the Barada properties are freezing their balls off. Or if they don't have their lady balls, no offense, I'm fair with it. Man balls and ladies have big balls too. For HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, you have to know not just math and science, but algebraic formulas like heat transfer and airflow. You have to know the laws of thermodynamics, pressure/temperature relationships and gas laws, load calculations, manual J, S, and D. I don't even know what those are. Andrew, earlier you asked me which one was worse, a gas leak or something with water, a water main break. Was that what you asked me?
I asked what's worse, plumbing or a natural gas leak?
Okay. What did you ask Rhea the same question?
I asked Rhea the same question.
What was her response?
She was trying to make the plumbing seem worse than it actually was, and I was saying a natural gas leak would be the worst thing to happen.
Of course, because you light a cigarette and the whole block is going to blow up.
Bingo.
Yeah, gas is explosive. So in the time I lived in my house, our gas meters are outside. Why? I don't know. But there's been a number of occasions where I have smelled gas leaking, and I immediately call We Energies, and they're pretty quick. They'll send somebody out pretty fast. Wait a minute, are the gas meters that we have outside of our houses? If you live in the city of Milwaukee, you have the metal thing, the metal piping, the big metal contraption that's outside of our house. Are those still connected? Because I thought that they did a conversion some years ago where our gas meters are in the house. Is that, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. For HVAC, tradespeople need to know electrical schematics, refrigerant charts, digital control logic, manufacturer service manuals, and energy efficient regulations. There's also major cognitive demand on people that are working in HVAC. And I'm taking these different trades one by one so people can understand all that is needed to know to be successful. And I'm not saying that young people, even older people, can't be trained in these things, but you have to love this stuff to sit and read 300-page technical manuals, know electrical schematics, refrigerant charts. You got to know algebra, you got to know geometry, you got to know trigonometry. You can't just throw somebody in these fields and think they're going to be successful. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
It's recognizing that there are people in the world that only have one word on their mind and heart when they become emotional and something happens to someone they like. They become irrational, they become fixated, and they do to others what they believe was done to them. The one thing everybody in America right now today, with the death of Charlie Kirk, the one thing they need to fear is retaliation.
Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris every weekday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work, the groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the new 101.7 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 101.7 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I have been going in depth explaining the skill sets that are needed to be successful in the trades, because far too many of us think that going into the trades is an answer for this cohort, a growing cohort of young men called NEETs. They are neither in employment, education, and training. They're essentially wasting away. Got a phone call from Cole a little while ago, and he was wondering why there's such a tremendous difference in the generations between his generation, which is also mine, Generation X. And I believe that the majority of the people that listen to this program are also of Generation X, and we have very similar cultural philosophies. And it is hard for us to understand the younger generation, but of course, as we age, youth seems further and further away. It's just that they are living in a time that we don't understand. And I say that because if you are in your 40s, mid-40s, late 40s, or your 50s, and you look at and try and interpret the youth, a lot of it, some of it might be understandable and cool and reasonable, but a lot of it leaves you scratching your head. It's because our world when we were that age was equally as foreign to our elders. We aren't living in our world anymore. We're living in theirs. And I think that's what older people sometimes lose sight of. We had our opportunity in our formative years to shape our old age. Okay? We did. We had that opportunity. Here's what we shaped. We had our opportunity when we were much more idealistic and we were forming the world and shaping the world as we were forming and shaping ourselves and our own generational identity. And this is what we produced, right? Leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it? But I'm providing the details the academic details that are needed to be successful in the trades, because I don't personally think it is the answer, because the skills that you need, and you have to be really, really good, because if you have a tradesperson that makes mistakes, buildings will literally collapse. Electrical fires will be abound. Carpentry will be useless. So you have to be really super skilled at all of quite honestly, it's all engineering. And engineering requires a lot of math. You'll notice that our math scores with Milwaukee Public School students are the worst, not just in the state, but some of the worst in the country. And so if we are telling people that the trades are the answer for this gap of unemployed men, they don't know how to do math. But when Cole called in, he was also wondering, like, what is the difference between us and them? A lot of these kids simply can't read. They will appear lazy, bored, and unmotivated. They can't read, or they don't have high enough levels of reading and reading comprehension, and they can't critically think. You can't do anything. The entire world is reading. I read so much, I read in my sleep. I go to sleep and see words. But I like to read, though.
Nerd.
Zach just called me a nerd.
They heard me.
Oh, did they? Yeah, I don't mind being a nerd. Nerds are sexy. What's the opposite? A jock? Jocks are dumb. Smart jocks are dumb. Don't get me started on that. I came up with something yesterday just on the fly that I thought was brilliant. The difference between men and women, and I don't mind outlining the differences between men and women. And also, if I used to get offended when women would say, like, disrespectful things about men. Now I don't care, because I know they ain't talking about me. If a woman is wearing another woman's name on her body, it's probably a fashion designer. And you may not even see the name being displayed. It might just be somebody can identify, Donna Karen, whatever, just by the style of whatever the purse is, right? But women rarely wear another woman's name on their body. Men will wear another man's name on his body because he can run fast and jump. Men will wear, think about that. I'm wearing, where did you get your jersey from? Whose name do you have on your back? Women don't even wear WNBA jerseys. I've seen more men wear WNBA jerseys than I've seen women. Women don't display other women's names. Women are so fascinating. I'm looking at all these different perspectives on women and just men, how we evolved. So I'm trying to figure out, if we go back to our evolutionary roots, how do we use that to make some kind of sense out of the world? Because as of right now, a lot of women would rather be in the woods with a bear. And that's kind of disrespectful, but here's what I say. Go at it. Have fun. Because if you in the woods with a bear, I'm leaving both y'all asses alone. Men are more designed evolutionarily to be equipped and prepared for conflict outside of the tribe. Conflict with those over there in that territory. So not conflict necessarily within our tribe, but conflict from external forces, from this group over there, not inside of our unit and our community. And men also are much more likely to have evolved with honoring your opponent. You go to war with your opponent, you lose, and you still may be honorable. Hey, you fought a good fight. I mean, we kicked your ass, but it's honorable. It's why you see a kind of sportsmanship. And where I think sportsmanship is best illustrated is you have UFC fights where they are literally trying to murder each other, but after these fights where they're literally trying to kill each other, they'll hug it out. bleeding all over each other. Boxing as well, some of the most barbaric sports, because men still hold the honorable opponent near and dear. Like boys, we would fight all the time. We'd fight between first and second period, and we'll go to recess together after sixth hour, right? We would have our conflict, but there's still some honor in the conflict. We would solve the conflict, and we would go on back to our normal course of action. Women, not necessarily, because they have evolved to deal with conflict inside the tribe, and they are less likely to forgive and see their opponents as honorable. A woman can get into an argument or a disagreement with a woman and hate her forever. Don't believe me? Gentlemen, are you currently married? Are you married again? I guarantee you your current wife hates your ex-wife, and she's going to hate her forever. Gentlemen, are you married? You love your wife very much? Gentlemen, did you have children before you were currently married? You did? I bet your current wife hates your baby mama. She's going to hate her forever. See, that's inside the tribe. And I'm not saying one is right, one is wrong, but women just have evolved to deal with conflict inside the circle. Men are much more likely to be able to deal with conflict outside the circle, but also hold our opponents as honorable. Some of that is being lost. This is why these kids don't fight anymore. It's very difficult for me to talk about this without using profanity because I get so very upset. If you get into a fight, and all boys get into fights, and then you get your ass kicked, you got your ass kicked, and just it's over. Now these kids go and get a gun, they go shoot the person to kick their ass. No, you take the ass kick and be like, oh, I won't mess with them anymore. Let me go on about my business. See the honor in the person that kicked your ass and just keep it moving. No, I'm going to go shoot you. Who almost said? One of these days I'm going to say, I don't like that. Because it wasn't even that long ago where we as young boys had respect and honor amongst one another. Because we would get into it. Boys would fight. And then the fight is over. You don't want to go get a gun and shoot them like, oh, I got my ass kicked. And then guess what the best part about it was? You'd laugh about it. Not right away. It's not funny right away. But eventually... And our groups of friends would oftentimes bring us back together. If there was ever conflict, because we used to have these big friend groups when I was growing up, and there'd always be some conflict. I used to hate when the conflict was over a girl, but sometimes it would be. And then two boys would fight. But then the friend group would like, okay, that's enough between y'all. We're all going out this weekend. We're all going to hang out. Y'all going to have to get over your beef. And then what they do, hug. You hug him right now. Y'all ever have to do that? Where we would settle conflicts within our own group because it disrupts the productivity of the entire group because our group needs to be intact in case us Brown Deer boys got to fight them boys from Vincent. In case us Brown Deer boys got to kick them kids' asses from Nicolay. And let me be the first one to tell you, we fought kids from Nicolay and we kicked their happy asses back to Glendale. Because us Brown Deer kids, we used to hang out at Brown Deer Park. It was our park, even though it does border on other suburban communities. Brown Deer Park was ours. It is where we hung out. It's where you hung out after school. It's where you hung out on the weekends. And believe it or not, until Tiger Woods turned pro, because, Tiger Woods turned pro in 96, and his first pro golf match or game, whatever you call golf competitions, was at Brown Deer Park. We would underage drink at Brown Deer Park, and the sheriffs wouldn't even care because I guess the way they saw it, we could be out terrorizing the streets, but we were contained in the park. Now, at 10 o'clock, we had to leave the park. But when the PGA brought Tiger Woods, and when he turned pro at Brown Deer Park in 1996, then they started giving us underage tickets. But a lot of kids would come and take advantage of the freedom that we had at Brown Deer Park. And we didn't like other kids from other schools because they would try and talk to our women. So we get into fights with them. But what we could not have, this is the camaraderie amongst men that I don't necessarily see anymore. In certain age groups of men, certain generations of men, I think we still have that camaraderie. But with younger men, they just seem so much more isolated. I think you have some young men in this youngest generation that may have best friends, like they're homies, but they never met them before because they play video games with them via a headset, and they're across the world. That's so wild to me. My brother is 36, so he's a lot younger than me, and he was like the first generation that I saw play video games with a headset. So here's what's crazy. So my brother's best friend grew up, he was right across the street, like literally directly across the street. My brother would be at home, and then my brother's best friend would be at home. They'd both be in the basement playing video games with each other wearing headsets. I'm like, why don't y'all black asses just Tyler, go to his house or have him come over here? It's not the same. Okay, I guess Zach is agreeing. So I'm trying to figure out, going back to our evolution as a species, how we can take tips and clues from that to try and bring us back together, because right now our society is so incredibly fragmented. The political stuff, I think that we are naturally going to get over, because when enough Americans either wake up or they get hurt or they're not getting any kind of economic advantage. Because here's the thing, what is the point of having this immigration policy if it's not helping Americans get more jobs? Right? If you kick all the other people out of the country, like, yay, it's a whole bunch of jobs for us, none of you all are getting hired. Especially because you guys don't want to be fixing roofs when it's 10 below zero, but I bet you somebody from Ecuador will. So the political stuff, I think, will work itself out. I'm more concerned about this lack of cooperation and collaboration amongst men and women, but also we are realizing that as the playing fields get level, and we can look at affirmative action, we can look at DEI for this, giving women more options and more opportunity, because a generation ago, women were just, oh, you're going to be a mother, well, 2 generations ago, really. You're going to, here, take these home ec classes. Here, learn how to sew. But now when we level the playing field, we are seeing that the maturity that girls exhibit earlier than boys is turning into real academic and professional success. And because the world is changing and evolving and labors are changing and evolving, traditional men don't really have their same place like they did, like our fathers and our grandfathers had, you see. And so one of our remedies, at least in the black community, because I don't necessarily hear this in the white community, but full disclosure, I'm not listening to the whites anymore. Listening to the whites got you what you have at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Need I say more? They're just losing credibility. Okay? Because even our white allies will still make up excuses for their mamas, their daddies, their uncles, and their aunties that voted for Trump. Oh, no, Sherwin, we're allies with you. Yeah, but your whole family voted for Trump. Yeah, I know. See, that's what the problem is. I would rather you have conversations with members of your family and try and turn them than you bring your ass out into the streets and say you're an ally for me. Because when you act a fool and when you shoot or get shot, then black people somehow are going to get taken the blame. Well, we're out there for you. Stay at home. Talk to your mother and ask her to stop voting for Trump. Electrical work, you need math skills. You need a tremendous amount of algebra, and it's outlined here in this article called Ohm's Law. So I'm talking about the skill set that young people we know are not getting when they're graduating from our heavily funded public school system, because we know the reading scores and the math scores are really, really horrible. Reading and math, especially like reading technical manuals and knowing math, sophisticated math, geometry, trigonometry, and algebra are central to all of the trades that we are telling unemployed black men and boys to get in. But they don't have the skills, so stop telling them to get into the trades. And then we're making them feel even worse when they're not getting into the trades. First of all, I don't want a carpenter that don't know how to do math. Here you go, Sherwin, your brand new home is complete. I open the front door and the entire house collapses around the front door. And I'm just standing there holding the front door. To be an electrician, you need to know algebra. You need to know trigonometry called conduit bends. You need to know electrical load calculations. You need to know voltage drop calculations. And you need to know a thing called phase balancing. All electricians need to know this. And guess what? If you mess up any one of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I just said, everybody in your whole crew is going to die because they're all going to get electrocuted. The trades are not an easy answer for the lack of employed young men in our community. And to be an electrician, you need reading. You need to know NEC codes, which is hundreds of pages. You need to know electrical diagrams and what they call one-lines. And you need to know control wiring schematics by heart. You need technical skills to be an electrician. You need to know logic sequencing, circuit isolation, fault diagnosis, grounding and bonding principles, and the cognitive demand. It's just to be an electrician. I still got other trades I can list off for you. You have to have abstract reasoning. Electricity is, in fact, invisible. You have to know precision sequencing, and you have to know the zero-tolerance safety margins, because if you make any mistake anywhere in any of your wiring, the entire building will start on fire. some of our young people will never be involved in the trades because of the high amount of lead they have in their damn blood. You ever think about that? And so I'm saying this because I don't want us to continue to blame unemployed black men and boys on them. They are not coming out of high school with even a foundational amount of skills to get involved in the trades, which far too many of us think is the answer. I'm going to take a break, come back, continue chatting, read some text messages at 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. I'm also sometimes shocked that the men who are, in fact, involved in the trades don't ever call in and be like, yeah, Sherwin, this work isn't easy. Oh, I know why they're not calling in. That's because they're working. They ain't got time to call in to my show. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. It's homecoming for the Milwaukee Panthers. Tune in Friday night as the Milwaukee Panthers host the Wright State Raiders at the UWM Panther Arena.
Jackson's step back three is good. See Jack buries it. Panthers got to close strong. Kone with a strong move right down Main Street.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 6:30 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 7 o'clock.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do little wiggles. The slate's coming in.
What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
He's just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts, because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
Prizes, exclusive experiences, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting truthcontests.com. That's truthcontests.com.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It starts with a spark. At Milwaukee College Prep, that spark turns into something extraordinary. From age 3 through 8th grade, MCP nurtures the brilliance and builds scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of students face economic hardship, but that does not define them, because at Milwaukee College Prep, every child's potential shines. With 4 campuses and one powerful mission, college and beyond, Milwaukee College Prep is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com. That is MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com, where Milwaukee's future begins to shine. Over here talking about the educational skills that children need, that young people need, if we're going to funnel them into the trades. Let me just give you, where's my snapshot at? I just had it. Oh, shucky ducky quack quack. Here we go. Based on the most recent data, the school year of 24 through 2025, 18% of Milwaukee public schools high school graduates tested above proficiency in reading. Can't even read their goddamn diploma. 18% at or above. Proficient reading, guys, is not a high level. Not 300-page technical manual that you need to know and memorize to be in HVAC, plumbing, or carpentry. Our children are unprepared to get into the jobs that we think they're supposed to be doing. And so, okay, fair enough. So what do? Give the district more money every time it asks for it. Okay, absolutely. You wanted $80 million in 2020? Got you. You wanted $252 million that just got put on our property taxes? You need it? Boom, got you. The proficiency is getting worse. Based on recent 2024-2025 school year data, 18% of Milwaukee high school students tested at or above proficiency in reading, while only 9% were proficient in math, so they're worse in math. I don't know which one. If I had to prioritize the two, because you got to know numbers probably more than you need to know words, because numbers is like time and money and weights and measures and grams and milligrams and checking accounts and savings accounts and percentage yields of your dividend distributions and your stock investments. You got to know math just as much as you need to know reading. We are sending unprepared young people out into the world, and it really is our problem because these kids don't have enough academics in their developmental environment. I know that we put a lot on the schools. Let me just look at math and be objective here. And I know that public school teachers, they get so mad at me. But Sherwin, I love my kids. I'm not taking any of that away from you. Just like there are police officers that love providing a sense of safety for a community. There are doctors, physicians, nurses, specialists that love their patients. But it's not about you, the individual teacher, you, the individual doctor or nurse or specialist. It's not about the individual cop. It's about the systems in which they work. That is called structural racism. It's not always about the individual. An individual person will tell me how much they love black children. They love them to death. They wish they could adopt them all and take them home like rescue dogs. But the system in which they are working in marginalizes those children and does not provide content, educational content, that is suitable for where those children are at. Now, I do not want to confuse the two. I am not speaking negatively about the profession of teaching. I love my teachers. My history teacher, Mr. Civic, came to my father's funeral and was there for the entire thing. Because imagine this as a history teacher. To see one of your students essentially teach history 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. What kind of vindication is that for him? Because a lot of times teachers don't know that the work that they do even does any good. Thank you, Mr. Civic. He's a great guy. Glad I can make him proud. Approximately 9% of high school students are proficient, notes U.S. World and Report. Reading proficiency, approximately 18% of MPS high school students are proficient in reading, according to U.S. News and World Report. District standing, the Milwaukee Public School District received an overall score of 59.5 out of 100 on state report cards, classifying as essentially failing, but the classification they use is called meets few expectations. What kind of success do you think is going to happen? Now, let me be clear. Some of these young people may find their footing, they may find their calling, they may find their passion at some point later in life, but not immediately. we know the economic cost to black students as well, and I want people to understand this if we are to understand racial politics in this country. These numbers that I'm giving you from Milwaukee Public Schools, they're not that much of an anomaly. Other urban districts have similar numbers when it comes to black children. And it's really weird because you'll have white kids in the same MPS school system that are excelling. Now, the white kids are not perfect to go to MPS. Their numbers are subdued, but they're doing leaps and bounds better. But they're in the same school system. Isn't that odd? Don't you find that a little bit odd that there's such a vast difference between the performance of white students in reading and math and reading proficiency than are black students? Again, that's that institutional and structural racism. Even the behaviors of black children, when they exhibit certain behaviors and white children exhibit those same behaviors, the black child is much more likely to be punished, suspended, expelled, beat up by a school safety officer, etc. But because this is a commonality amongst urban districts, black children, when they graduate from high school, they do lack proficiency in reading and math. This is a fact. And so when they do go to college, if they do, they have to take, on average, 2 years of additional classes so they can get caught up. Now, when they take those 2 years of additional classes to help their proficiency, they can go on and get their 4-year degrees, and a lot of times they do, because what we're also seeing simultaneously, so it's not all doom and gloom, we have the highest rate of African Americans under the age of 25, or over the age of 25, that have bachelor's degrees. So that number is increasing, and that's a very, very good thing, right? But on average, a black student, especially if you come from an urban public school district, they've got to take 2 more years of college courses, more remedial courses, in order to begin their 4-year degree. Well, that's an additional cost, and we know that college is getting more expensive. Why do you think the Biden administration had a student loan forgiveness program? I'm going to let you think about that. Because black children that were coming from urban districts that weren't proficient in reading and math had to take 2 more years of college classes before they could start their major coursework. And it added up to black women having higher student loan debt than any other cohort in the country. And Joe Biden said, that's not fair. Forgive the goddamn loans. And what did Trump do? Nope. Let them wallow in debt. Barack Obama and the Affordable Care Act. I hate that I got to explain this to grown-ass people. You should have known what he was doing when he was doing it. African Americans were the most underinsured cohort of people in the country, and we had less money and less resources for critical care, for urgent care, for specialists in our community. The Affordable Care Act didn't just give people affordable health insurance. It invested money in health care in black communities where white politicians took it out. And we're going to argue the merits of that health care bill. Unbelievable. And you let the Republicans tell you that it doesn't work? If they tell you it doesn't work, that means it's working for people that don't vote for Republicans. I'm going to let you guys, I just gave you a lot right there. That was a lot now. I don't want to overload you. I'm going to give you a little bit at a time. I'll spoon feed you. Come sit in Daddy's lap and let me feed you. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, exclusively on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Looking for a delicious meal without breaking the bank? Cousin Subs has you covered. Our $10 meal deal gives you a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub piled high with fresh hand-sliced ingredients, crisp veggies, and all your favorite toppings. Add a bag of chips or regular fries, a fountain drink, and a cookie, all for just $10. This deal's available online or through the Cousins app only. And you can enjoy your meal at home, at work, or delivered straight to your door, hot and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better. Available at participating locations. Offer subject to change.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Many of our most important memories are made at school. But for children like Victoria, the classroom can be a place of fear and isolation. She wore a bandage over her cleft every day. too shy to speak, too afraid to smile. Everything changed after one life-transforming surgery made possible by Smile Train. Today, Victoria's smile lights up her classroom, a symbol of confidence, connection, and new beginnings. Due to stigma, children with untreated clefts often miss out on school entirely. But thanks to Smile Train, students like Victoria are stepping into the classroom, raising their hands, and finding their voice. Smile Train partners with local experts to support with free cleft surgeries and other comprehensive care, empowering children to thrive in school and in life. Let's help every child walk into the classroom with confidence. Visit smiletrain.org/learn.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday Counts study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
When the winter chill sets in, Milwaukee turns up the wonder. From January 22nd through February 1st, Milwaukee Museum Days invites you to unlock the city's cultural treasures at special admission prices up to 25% off. Explore world-class art, local history, hands-on science, and one-of-a-kind Milwaukee experiences. Pair your museum visits with Milwaukee Hotel Month deals for the ultimate winter escape. Learn more at visitmilwaukee.org/museum days. Stay tuned for our show tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We do our Milwaukee Experience segment. So last Friday was our first Milwaukee Experience segment, and Al called, so we won't do that again. But see, he turned the Milwaukee Experience into something that was really sexual. I think it's important to let folks know about what is happening. It's like, I'm going to call it a tragedy, a crisis. There's a political stuff that's going on too, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We still have a lot of things that we need to keep our focus on, because there's going to be way more things on these ballots coming up in this election year of 2026 than we've seen in a long time. It won't just be the political ethos of the day, and I don't even know what it's going to be when we have we got spring elections in April. There might even be a primary or two in February. So next month we might have a damn election. Primary elections will be for nonpartisan offices will be in February. General for nonpartisan offices statewide will be in April. Partisan primaries August 11th, and then of course the November general election where we are going to be electing a new governor. Josh Showman is his name. He is the county executive of Washington County. So when you think Washington County, think Newburgh and West Bend and Germantown. He dropped out of the race for governor yesterday because his opponent in the Republican primary, a guy named Tom Tiffany, received an endorsement from Donald Trump. Mr. Tiffany, if you are listening, I just want you to know that politically that, sir, is your kiss of death. To accept Donald Trump's endorsement and to think that the people in Wisconsin want to bring Trump-style politics to the governor's office, it's just not going to happen, broski. Don't worry, you're going to be fine, Tom Tiffany. In fact, I think we're looking for a producer here at 1017 The Truth. Tom, you can come here and be a producer. Come produce some black radio.
Sherwin, I think your segment went a little long.
Imagine Tom Tiffany is my producer. Why don't we do this? Let's talk to Derek. Zach, do you need more time? You good? I want you guys to hear from Professor Scott Galloway and his perspective on men and how men and young boys they're not really seeing and finding their place in the world. And I'm not sure if I want to put blame on a specific entity, but it's like this is a community thing. I'm not just going to blame families and moms and dads. There's some culpability there, of course. But if those moms and dads, if they lack education, it's really hard to instill that credibly into their children. But the public school system, which I know they can't do everything either, but they keep asking us for money and we keep obliging them. I will say this, the next referendum the MPS asked for, it's going to fail. It's assured to fail because the last one that they got was very narrow. In fact, I have an idea where we went wrong in that last referendum. Because here's the thing, whether MPS got the money or not, the student performance would be exactly the same. Now the student performance is just as bad, but now they have $250 million more dollars. So the performance wouldn't have gotten worse. Hell, it can't get worse. They just have another $250 million where we know the schools that are outperforming, and MPS has got some schools that are outperforming. King is one of them. There's others, Ronald Reagan, there's a few others. The schools that have all the resources, that have the AP classes, that have the extracurriculars, that have like a real full offering of options and opportunities, because that is what high school is supposed to be. It's supposed to ready these children for a very unpredictable world. And there are schools that offer like this full like gamut of options and opportunities and like work-study programs and internships. The schools that are outperforming all the others, they get the referendum money first. And here's what's crazy. They don't need it. They don't need it. So in life and in the world, everything is stratified. Right now, if I look at wealth and wealth distribution, the people that have the most money are making the most money and they don't need it. The schools that are performing the best get the most money and they don't need it. Yet the people on the bottom and the students on the bottom and the schools on the bottom get the least. And if you think that Trump taking away your taxes on tips is going to do anything, just wait until you file in the next couple of weeks. Let's talk to Derek from Colorado. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing well, Sherwin. You were talking about math. My math teacher, and he was a Denver DPS, and he was always explaining to the people. People would always, when he was teaching people, you know something, this algebra, this geometry doesn't make any sense. Why do I need it anyway? And he would show them out there,
What was his name again, Derek? What was your teacher's name?
He was Vern Slaughter.
Okay. What grade did he teach? What grade were you in when you had Mr. Slaughter?
He taught high school.
Okay.
He taught high school.
When did you graduate from high school, Derek?
Yeah. Huh?
When did you graduate from high school? What year?
In the 70s.
Damn. When in the 70s? Well, you know what year you graduated, man? What year? Trying to give people a perspective.
But let me go ahead, okay? He was always explaining to us, even when he was explaining to the people about math, and people said, why do I need to know geometry? And he would take them out, and he would show them, see these homes right here? These homes were all done they had to have some geometry, pitch and curves and the roofs. And see that front porch?
Yeah, I see it.
Definitely is.
You got to have geometry. You got to know the angles, Derek. So your math teacher taught you about math, huh?
Yeah, and that's what he was explaining. That's what he was explaining to people because they didn't understand why you need to have math.
The practical applications of math, and this was back in the 70s. You know what's crazy, Derek? When you graduated from high school, there was less numbers. You graduated a long time ago, and we didn't even have as many numbers as we have now.
80s. Yeah, we have in the 70s, 80s, or whenever I graduated, 70s, 80s.
Why are you keeping when you graduated a secret? That ain't no secret. We don't care how old you are. I'm trying to give people a perspective of what generation you represent.
Yeah.
Okay. What is... Yeah.
Bruh. Hate it.
Hey, Al.
Hey, how you doing? I just wanted to touch base with you. I wanted to say this real quick. A lot of these people that voted for Trump, voted because he's white. And I don't even understand why some of these black people always talk about, what's their name, Caesar Bourgeois, or was it Yahweh, or Donnie McKirkland, or Hezekiah Walker, or something. The guy who's supposed to showed up 600 years ago, but we're always throwing these Bible verses. Let's break it down to you. A lot of y'all be screaming about welfare and what they get in food stamps and how they can pay that rent. If you're black and you constant, you always talking about that, that makes you sound very dirt poor. But y'all never talk about these people that's getting caught for welfare fraud, and they're not black. You don't ever talk about the people who got the Shirley Temple curls that's effing the hell out of welfare. My neck, my back, work that welfare and back. You don't know me, I got G's. You crawling on your knees. I got welfare so clean. That's why I'm looking mean. But I never hear y'all talk about that, but y'all always want to pick on the migrants. But I don't see y'all working on no roofs. Y'all sure ain't picking no fruit. And if you're getting money like that, why is you worried about how much somebody's getting in food stamps? I never could understand that. And then y'all always come with that incorrect information. Listen, if you want to ride that peckerwood penis, just say, I want to ride it. But if you're going to side with it, just say you want to side with it because it's white. But if you're going to come for people, and this goes for you religious people, because y'all always talking about all these religious stuff, love thy neighbor, but when it comes to them, all of a sudden your face turn like that movie Carrie, just come out and be cool with it. But they're not taking nothing from you. I don't care. Because look at the people who's here now undocumented, who's white. Y'all not saying nothing. Y'all ain't saying nothing about them. And I know the way some of y'all think, talk, and walk, y'all will probably F them for free and still go back home to your husband. Have a great day.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day. Bye-bye. Already. Whew. You ain't got money. You ain't got a lotta. Do you own your home or do you rent from Barada? That was a bar.
Bars!
It's a bar. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back. What's happening? Like, what? We start off so well, and then I end up rapping.
Oh, you should wait until you find out what I'm doing.
I'm looking forward to it. You're a very creative person. I'm going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to hear from Professor Scott Galloway, The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, you just won $5,000!
What would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
That just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 1017 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
I got money now. Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Presley. My love for animals began when I was 5 years old. That sparked a lifelong commitment to speak up for animals who can't speak for themselves. Elvis and I supported American Humane Society because your compassion can change a life. American Humane Society strengthens the bond between humans and animals. Please visit AmericanHumane.org to learn more. Thank you.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Nothing hits like a Jamiroquai bass line. Listen to that. Come on. Drums. I think I need to get back to my roots of being a DJ. This song is called Manifest Destiny, and it's about slavery. It's really, really good. As I remember, it was 400 years ago. Come on, JK, sing it. Since you came to crucify, and they were taken far away from home, there were promises of paradise. I gotta turn this down. They have been told that they would be sold this way. All right, we're gonna hear from Professor Scott Galloway. If you go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, you'll be able to see the professor talk about this crisis situation that we have going on currently with men. Go ahead, Zach.
15-year-old has a party. The boys are, they're polite, they're nice, but they're dopes. They don't make eye contact. Right. They don't. Some of the girls look like they could be the junior senator from Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. Hello, Mr. Galloway. What a lovely home you have. I mean, they're in a different league from a maturity standpoint. And what's weird, and we don't know why, is the gulf in maturity is broadening between boys and girls. Girls are menstruating earlier, and boys' testicles are descending later. And we don't know if it's pesticides or the environment. But if you have two 17-year-old seniors in high school applying to college, the 17-year-old girl is basically competing against a 15-and-a-half-year-old girl called a boy. Their prefrontal cortex is 18 months less mature and doesn't catch up until it's 25. And so when we leveled the playing field academically, girls just blew by boys. And like I said, it used to be 40-60 female to male college enrollment. Now it's 60-40, and it's going to be 2-to-1 graduation rates because boys drop out at a greater rate. Boys are 4 times more likely to kill themselves than girls, 3 times more likely to be homeless or addicted, and 12 times more likely to be incarcerated. I mean, we have a homeless and an opiate crisis, but what we really have is a male homeless and a male opiate crisis. So the statistics are just remarkable. There are 3 times as many young men who are called NEETs, and that's neither in education, employment, or in training. Literally doing nothing. Only 1 in 3 men under the age...
They're vaping.
They're vaping. Go ahead. Netflix. 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 is in a relationship. It's 2 in 3 women. And you think, well, that's mathematically impossible. It's not, because women are dating older because they want more economically and emotionally viable men. Mm-hmm. And so we're producing... I think we're evolving a new species of asocial, asexual males.
Hey, you should like it.
All right, Scott Galloway. That was on the Neil Brennan podcast. Neil Brennan, he's a fascinating man. He actually has a couple of stand-up comedy specials on Netflix. I think they're still on Netflix. I know they used to be. Netflix sometimes recycles old comedy specials. But here's what's unique about Neil Brennan that a lot of people don't know because he has kept a relatively low profile in show business. He writes Dave Chappelle's jokes. So imagine when Neil Brennan and his infinite wit has his own stand-up special, so you can see more of that interview with Professor Scott Galloway on Neil Brennan's podcast. That's available right now on YouTube. And he had Neil Brennan did specials on the Netflix. Ben Teagan is asking me if I've ever seen Napoleon Dynamite. Yes, Ben, I have. And Ben apparently has no other follow-up questions after that. Millicent says, you bash MPS, they need the money, but if they don't get it, only the kids and families will be hurt. So if you don't like MPS now, just wait. It's not about me liking MPS or not, Millicent. I know that what we are investing in it, we are not getting the output of a workforce that can take advantage of the opportunities that need to be filled. I'm a taxpayer. I pay for that school district, so what's not going to happen is my voice criticizing the district for its lack of output is not going to be silenced. And you have your opinions, too, about MPS. And all I want is for parents to not have to be damned and doomed to a failing school because it's in their attendance area. If a parent can't afford tuition, that shouldn't be a barrier to that parent getting a good education. Like, why are we economically stratifying education? And yes, I'm talking about private schools, and you don't have to like private schools. And if you don't, send your kid to public schools. Only time I ever stepped foot in a private school, because I'm a public education product. Only time I ever went to a private school is when I was chasing a high school girl or going to a track meet. So I didn't go to private schools. But I know back in my day, Dominican had the prettiest women. Dominican is where, so when we got out of school at Brown Deer, we had just enough time to drive to Whitefish Bay Dominican at their release time, and we would just hang out in the parking lot. That was something we used to do back before there was social media. You would go to other schools at their dismissal, other high schools, and just hang out and kick it with them. It was a thing that we used to do. Now, depending upon where your school was located and how long it took you to get there, because what we do is we'd all pile in my Camaro. Hey, everybody, Sherwin is heading over to Dominican. Hurry up, we about to leave in 2 minutes. And they'd all pile in my Camaro, and we go to Dominican and just park in La Pimp. Jay, the math teacher, says, the irony of the Trump administration offering student loan forgiveness for ICE agents was a ha-ha moment for him against us. And you're absolutely right. Mathematics is a universal language. You can't do anything without it. Our entire world is built around it. Children not being able to read directly affects their comprehension and test scores. Hard to understand if you can't read damn word problems, let alone interpret them. Thank you, Jay, the math teacher. Wayne just said, oh, he's got 2 text messages. Wayne says, Sherwin, this is all via 833-212-1017, our text message line. Wayne says, Sherwin, it's not so much about becoming a tradesman, but in my opinion, it's about reestablishing vocational education and skill building. Graduating from MPS and having no monetizable skills is where educational material we are failing. Leon says, also, it is true that immigrants don't have to pay taxes for the first 5 years. Totally lie. Totally false. Where did that even come from? Because it used to be 7 years. No, not true. That's not true. The only way you're not paying taxes is if you come here and just are sitting and not doing anything. Unless you have some kind of prearranged business deal, or if you're investing money, or you get a tax incremental finance plan, which is very rare for an immigrant, they got to pay taxes. They got to pay taxes into benefit programs that they can't even receive. So if someone who is not legal, if you're here to work but you're not a citizen, you're paying Social Security and will never qualify for it. So we got to get rid of that fallacy as well, that they aren't paying taxes. You know who's not paying taxes? People that make $13 million a year. They're not paying taxes. I'm more concerned about them. Leon says there's a lot of women that do OnlyFans and there's a lot of guys that aren't interested in women that partake, so that affects things as far as dating go. It's not that many women in OnlyFans. And here's the other thing. Most OnlyFans is like $4.99, which when you think about it, it's a lot cheaper than a date. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.
My neck, my back, work at welfare and back. My neck, my back, work at welfare and back. You don't know me, I got G's. My back, you crawling on your knees. My back.
Come in with straight truth.
If you acted up, if you were out here doing any kind of foolishness or just something that people know would make your family's name look bad, your neighbor from down the street, if they see the son or daughter, be like, what are you doing? They gonna call you out. They gonna let you know that they saw you. And then they gonna tell you, come here. Now, you know I'm gonna tell your daddy.
That part.
There are a lot of times when people are new to an area, they don't know where to plug in. And anybody